Have you ever felt that the more you understand the world, the less you fit into it? That your mind is like a room full of ancient books in a house where no one else knows how to read? You see the patterns, you connect the dots, you understand the subtext. And this clarity, this intelligence, instead of connecting you to people, has slowly, painfully isolated you from them. If your own mind has brought you more loneliness than connection, then Carl Jung had a brutal but liberating explanation for you. He once wrote that consciousness is like a solitary flame flickering in the darkness. It illuminates, but it also isolates. The brighter your flame of awareness, the more starkly you see the vast surrounding darkness, and the more alone you feel within it. This is the paradox of the intelligent mind. But here is the truth that no one tells you, the twist at the heart of your isolation. This loneliness is not a sign that you are socially inept or fundamentally broken. It is a sign that your mind has refused to participate in what Jung would call the collective unconsciousness pact, the silent, unspoken agreement that most people make to ignore uncomfortable truths, to accept logical fallacies, and to overlook hypocrisy, all in exchange for the warm, comforting feeling of belonging. Your mind has broken this pact, and in doing so, you have gained something incredibly powerful, but also dangerous: lucidity, the ability to see things as they are, and this lucidity has a price. Let's examine the first cost of this beautiful curse. Being intelligent isn't just about IQ scores or academic achievements. On a fundamental day-to-day level, it's about seeing. It's about seeing the glaring contradiction between what someone says and what their body language reveals. It's about seeing the hidden power dynamics playing out under the surface of a polite office meeting. It's about seeing the desperate need for validation behind an arrogant comment. The first price of intelligence is this curse of lucidity. Once you see the patterns, you cannot unsee them. Your mind doesn't just passively receive information, it analyzes, it decodes, it sees the architecture behind the social facade. And this makes most everyday, superficial interactions utterly exhausting. You're not just having a conversation. You are simultaneously running a background analysis of unspoken motives, emotional undercurrents, and logical fallacies. You are constantly aware of what is not being said, and the effort required to pretend you don't see it is immense. You might have been told your whole life that you're being too negative or that you overthink everything. But what's really happening is that your mind is operating at a data processing level that is simply incompatible with the standard user interface of society. You are not being negative. You are perceiving reality in high definition, while most people are content with a blurry, low-resolution image. You see the code behind the matrix, and that makes it impossible to simply enjoy the simulation. This high-definition perception forces you to see the absurdity in many social norms, the emptiness in many rituals, which leads directly to the second reason for your loneliness, the breaking of the herd instinct. The desire to belong to a herd, to a tribe, is one of the most primal instincts of human survival. For millennia, being cast out from the group meant certain death. So we are hardwired to conform, to agree, to follow the flow. But what happens when your mind is intelligent enough to see that the herd is stampeding towards a cliff? This is the core of your conflict. You experience the deep, painful inability to simply go with the flow. You find it physically impossible to laugh at jokes that are empty or cruel. You cannot bring yourself to engage in gossip that you know is toxic. You cannot nod in agreement with mass opinions that you can clearly see are illogical, misinformed, or morally bankrupt. Every fiber of your being resists. This inability to fit in is not your failure. It is your intelligence acting as a soul preservation system. Your mind has calculated that the slow spiritual death that would come from pretending to be someone you're not is a far greater danger than the pain of being alone. It has chosen the sharp, clean pain of solitude over the dull, chronic ache of inauthenticity. Your loneliness is not your enemy. It has become your bodyguard. But this bodyguard, in protecting your integrity, places you in a kind of invisible prison. A solitude so specific and profound that Jung defined it in a brutally precise way. And understanding his definition is the key to finding the door out of that prison. Let's look at it. What is the true definition of loneliness? Our society tells you it's about being physically alone. It's the absence of people. But you know that's a lie. You have felt your most profound loneliness in a crowded room, at a loud party, even sitting at a dinner table with your own family. The most painful loneliness is not the absence of people. It is being surrounded by them and being unable to talk about anything that truly matters to you. It is the isolation of your soul, not your body. Jung articulated this with brutal, soul-shaking clarity. He wrote, "Loneliness does not come from having no people about one, but from being unable to communicate the things which seem important to oneself." Read that again. The source of your pain is not a lack of social skills. It is a lack of a shared language. You are trying to discuss astrophysics with people who only want to talk about the weather. You are trying to share the intricate music of your inner world with those who can only hear the beat of the drum. The loneliness of the intelligent person is a loneliness of depth, of perspective, of a fundamentally different worldview. And this means that the cure for your loneliness will never be found in the generic advice to get out more or meet new people. Now that would be like telling a native Portuguese speaker to cure his loneliness by attending more parties where everyone only speaks Russian. The problem isn't a lack of people, it's a lack of resonance. The cure is not about finding more bodies to be around. It is about finding someone, anyone, who speaks your language. But what if those people are incredibly rare? Jung would say, excellent, because that scarcity, that difficulty, forces you to embark on the most critical journey of your life. A journey not outward, but inward. And this is where the great paradox occurs. Here is the greatest secret that intelligent, lonely people eventually discover, a truth that can only be found at the very bottom of the well of solitude. At the deepest point of your isolation, you do not find more despair, you find freedom. It's the freedom that comes when you finally stop fighting. You stop trying to translate your depth into shallow terms. You stop contorting yourself to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. You let go of the exhausting, soul-crushing project of trying to be understood by everyone. And in that surrender, something incredible happens. The desperate need for external approval, the very thing that has been causing you so much pain, simply dies. This solitude forces you to find everything you were seeking from others, within yourself. You must learn to validate your own thoughts. You must learn to find strength in your own convictions. You must learn to be entertained by your own mind. You are forced, out of sheer necessity, to become your own best friend, your most trusted advisor, and your most fascinating conversationalist. And then you realize the truth. The loneliness was not a punishment. It was a training ground. It was an intensive, immersive program designed by your own psyche to force you to develop unshakable self-sufficiency, profound self-respect, and an internal authority that no one can ever take away from you. The world didn't abandon you. It isolated you so that you could finally, for the first time in your life, truly find yourself. When you find yourself, when you become whole and self-reliant, something magical happens to your energy. You stop needing others, and you start attracting them. But not just anyone. And that is the final key to this entire journey. What happens when a lighthouse finally accepts its own brilliant solitary light, instead of trying to dim itself to look more like the decorative lights of the city? It begins to be seen by other ships navigating the same deep, dark waters. By embracing your authentic self, by speaking your truth without needing it to be validated, by simply being who you are, you become a kind of psychic tuning fork. Your unique, powerful frequency begins to resonate out into the world. And while most people, who are vibrating at a different, more chaotic frequency, won't even notice it, the few souls who are tuned to the same channel will feel it from miles away. And the connections you form then are unlike anything you have ever experienced. They are rare, but they are profound. They are effortless. There is no performance, No need to explain yourself. No walking on eggshells. There is just a deep, quiet, immediate recognition. A feeling of coming home. You discover that you didn't need a crowd. You just needed a tribe, even if that tribe is only one or two other people. And here is the beautiful, final irony of the intelligent person's journey. You only found your tribe when you stopped desperately searching for it and became, yourself, the exact kind of person you were always hoping to find. You had to become a sanctuary for yourself before you could attract anyone else worthy of entering it. This journey, from the painful isolation of lucidity to the profound connection of authenticity, is not just a personal story of survival. It has a purpose, a role in the grander scheme of things. And understanding that purpose is the final piece of Jung's brutal, beautiful explanation. So why? Why go through all of this? Why would the psyche subject you to the profound pain of intelligent loneliness? The reason is simple and powerful. Because the world does not need more echoes. It needs more voices. Your journey was never just about you. Intelligent, conscious individuals who have weathered the storm of their own solitude and found the shore of their own authenticity become lighthouses for the collective. They don't do this by preaching or trying to convert the masses. They do it simply by existing. They illuminate alternative ways of being. They question the status quo, not with aggression, but with their quiet integrity. They serve as immovable reference points of truth and depth for other souls who are just beginning to feel the pull of the tide, who are just starting to suspect that the herd is running in the wrong direction. And in this, the final transformation occurs. The pain of your loneliness is transmuted into the power of your sovereignty. The feeling of being weird or different becomes the honor of being authentic. You finally understand that your solitude was not a punishment. It was a calling. A calling to become so fully and unapologetically yourself that your very presence becomes a permission slip for others to do the same. A calling to guide them back to themselves. Jung's brutal explanation is, in the end, a deeply hopeful one. Your loneliness is not a symptom of your failure. It is the measure of your depth. Now I want to hear from you. In what situation have you most acutely felt the loneliness of lucidity? Was it at work, with friends, within your own family? Share your experience in the comments below. Let's create a space of recognition for the lighthouses. And if you felt understood by this video, subscribe, and let's continue to navigate these deep waters together.